Dana White has had a lot of disagreements with a lot of people.
It's a stupid question, but go ahead. Talk to me.
Oh, he's very, very stupid. Okay, let's start there. Any other stupid questions? And yes, Floyd, you're racist. And Tito's just a really dumb human being. He's not intelligent at all. African Americans don't get it.
You win the dumb question of the night.
Manny Pacquiao should go make some sushi somewhere.
I don't give a shit what the media says about it. They don't matter.
Shut up and make the fight, Floyd.
I can
you
tell
know you're stupid, Tito. You know you are. So
there were people watching. It did 3.2 million viewers, and 1.7 million of them had never been to Rumble before. Yeah.
It seems a little doubtful.
Yeah, you can doubt it all you want. Should I? The good thing is that most of you guys don't understand social media and how it works.
However, at the end of the day, he fears no man because he can end anybody's career at any time. Take that back. He fears one man. He fears this man. You see, this is not a viewership war. This is a cultural war.
Unfortunately, I feel that some organizations around the world, in the quest for the dollar, have thrown all morality and value out the door, disrespecting people's religion, death threats to their kids.
Breaking a bus with a dolly, beat up women, hit and run accident with a pregnant lady, steroids, cocaine. You know, organizations say no problem, as long as you sell pay-per-view dollars, I don't really care. They're selling fights. We're unleashing heroes.
It is literally larger than the UFC worldwide.
I'm seeing one championship over F1, over NFL, over NBA, legit behemoths.
Chaudhry saw incredible business opportunities because he went to the business school in Harvard.
I got into Harvard, and I really don't know how. It was probably like there were probably only 3 people from Thailand applying that year or something, you know? And maybe I was the best out of the 3. I have no idea. That first week at Harvard, I came with a suitcase with all my life's belongings and about $1,000. I had to figure out very quickly how I was going to pay for school fees, for books, for my living expenses. And
Chaudhry, me, and another friend of ours used to be some of the poorest people in the class at business school.
I remember being very ashamed of my background, and I didn't want to tell people. It got so bad that my mom ended up living with me in the second year in my dorm room.
I stayed in Chaudhry's dorm for a while in his second year.
My mom slept on the bed and I slept on the floor. She had to wait for me in between classes to get into the dorm.
And obviously the school administration had no idea. If they did, I would probably have gotten expelled.
And given it wasn't an easy childhood for him, but once graduated from Harvard, nobody can take that away from you. And he saw mixed martial arts as a huge opportunity.
I looked at every region of the world and I saw every region of the world had multi-billion-dollar sports media properties.
So if you go to America, it's NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball and the like. You go to Europe, it's F1 and Champions League and EPL. And these are all worth $50 to $100 billion.
You come to Asia, at the time, there was nothing. And no one had ever tried to unite 4 billion people, the world's largest population base, around one sports property.
Then I said, man, but Asia's the home of martial arts for 5,000 years. Japan has karate, Korea, taekwondo, China, kung fu, Russia, sambo, Thailand, Muay Thai, Indonesia, silat, Philippines, boxing and kali, and the list goes on and on.
So the idea finally hit you.
So I said, okay, I am going to start Asia's first multi-billion-dollar global sports media property. I almost feel like the Forrest Gump of martial arts. I was very naive to think I could pull this off.
How did you go about building up that roster of credible fighters?
I didn't envision this. I just kept running and running and running.
So I literally went to the States and got US Olympians to come over to Singapore. I went to Thailand, brought Muay Thai world champions. I went to Japan and brought mixed martial arts world champions. I went to Brazil, brought Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt world champions, and I convinced them to move to Singapore. I'll be upfront. I mean, the first 3 years was the hardest experience I'd ever gone through. I literally was rejected by every single person, thousands of rejections.
Who needed convincing? What did you need to do?
When I talk to governments, oh, we don't like sports. When I talk to investors, Asians don't like sports. Employees, I would give an offer, they would say yes, and then they would talk to their parents that same day, and then they would come back and say, sorry, I can't join because there's no such thing as sports in Asia.
Failure after failure after failure, rejection after rejection after rejection. Chaudhry, you're stupid. Chaudhry, you're crazy. Chaudhry, you'll never succeed.
So the first 3 years was literally like losing tons of money, my own money, my friends' money. At the end of the 3rd year, I called my mom and I was literally gonna quit.
How close do you think you were to actually quitting?
No, that day, if my mom had used the wrong words with me, I think I would have quit.
Really?
But a mom knows best.
It was a very short call. She said, Chaudhry, why don't you just quit then? And then after that, we hung up and I started thinking about why don't I just quit? And then I just go back to the original plan of why did I even start this company?
And then just my fire just raged huge. There's no way I'm gonna quit. This is my greatest passion in life. What is my mom talking about?
Being intrinsic, listening to your soul, listening to your heart, not what your mom tells you, not what your dad, not what your husband, not what your boyfriend, not what your girlfriend, not what your wife tells you, not what society tells you to do. But you do it because you genuinely believe that's what you want to do, and that's how you want to express your soul. That's what you want to do with your life. At the end of the day, we all leave this beautiful earth. What do you want to do with your life?
I don't care if everyone tells me it's impossible. I don't care if the world shuts me down. You know, one championship is not a startup to me. This is my life.
So how did you turn it around?
As Charles Darwin said it best, you know, it's not the strongest or the smartest that survive. It's the species that adapts to change the most efficiently.
Facebook, unbeknownst to me, decided to make a big bet on Asia. Suddenly, the window to the world became this, all over the world. We're gonna bet the farm on Facebook. We started putting videos on Facebook and went viral, and our fan base exploded around the world.
And then literally our video views in 2014 went from 300,000 for the whole year to 5 billion.
Wow.
In the next few years.
300,000 to 5 billion.
I would take the stats and go to the TV broadcasters and go, hey, Mr. Broadcaster, take a look. The content is flying. They were like, okay, well, we'll give you a shot on TV. Our numbers exploded on TV as well.
And the success on TV attracts more investors.
Institutional investors like Sequoia Capital, Guggenheim, like Qatar Investment Authority, like Temasek, these are like the very best and smartest investors in the world.
In 2015, to address the issue of weight cutting, One Championship implements hydration tests.
Check your hydration
They check
levels.
your hydration levels, yep.
He's smart. It's the right way to do it. We should have done it a long time ago in the UFC.
In 2016, a 19-year-old Angela Lee becomes champion in the first women world title fight. A year later, One puts the first submission grappling fight, followed in 2018 by the first Muay Thai and kickboxing fight. The same year, One Championship makes a historical trade with the UFC, getting the best fighter in the world, Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson, in exchange for Ben Askren. A trade that was 1,000,000 times more beneficial for One Championship than it was for the UFC. To the world's surprise, he would get knocked out for the first time ever in his career by One Championship's homegrown talent. And then there's one more deal that opened the gates for the American market.
And you signed a deal with Amazon recently.
It's the most important deal in the history of the company.
We're now Asia's largest billion-dollar global sports property. When I look at where we are as a business and where I want to go, we're still just scratching the surface.
And for those of you saying that One Championship is not bigger than the UFC,
it's like Asia's version of the UFC. It's gigantic, if not bigger.
The biggest mistake that everybody makes when they try to compete with us is they try to compete with us.
The UFC started in 1993, 27 years ago. We started 9 years ago.
It is literally larger than the UFC worldwide.
I'm seeing One Championship over F1, over NFL, over NBA, legit behemoths.
Let's just look at the numbers. One Championship is worth 1.4 billion and the UFC is worth 10 billion. However, the UFC is merged with the WWE at this point in TKO Holdings. Now they are the only two mixed martial art companies with a cap of over $1 billion. But clearly the UFC is worth so much more at this time. Both companies are very profitable though, as you can tell, and their profitability comes from their broadcast deals and distribution. And One Championship has distribution in 150 countries, whereas the UFC is broadcasted in 165 countries. So the UFC does win, but very marginally. You would expect this gap to be a lot bigger. However, both companies are still multinational companies, and while it might seem that the UFC is winning, it's not all about the countries you cover, but how much people watch and enjoy your content. And according to the Nielsen report for sports consumption, which shows that One Championship has a cumulative television reach of 406 million viewers, with the UFC having a reach of 459 million. And the only other mixed martial art company listed in that report is Bellator with 11 million. So as far as television reach, One Championship almost doubles the UFC television reach. But well, the world has gone viral, etc., etc. Well, One Championship is also a lot more viral than the UFC worldwide, as the digital viewership for One Championship is number 2 in the world, with over 13.8 billion views in Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, and other social media platforms. It sits just behind the number 1 ranked, the NBA, with over 14.5 billion, meaning that it has a bigger digital reach than every single sport out there except American basketball. Put that into perspective. Now there's a caveat to all this that I'd be remiss not to mention, and that is that a lot of UFC's viewership does come from the ESPN Plus app, their partner streaming platform, and through their pay-per-views. Now, as far as streaming from the ESPN app, their events average 1.17 million views. And as far as pay-per-views, around 500,000 views per pay-per-view. Now, I'm talking about averages here. There's definitely outliers, and the top shows have definitely been well into millions of buys. So One Championship definitely has what it takes to take over the UFC. However, the UFC has just been way smarter about monetizing their crowd, even though they have a smaller one. And hey, that is the power of America at times. And to be honest, the power of capitalism. And that is where the genius of the UFC is. Be absolutely ruthless on how you approach business. In fact, if you want to check more out about the UFC business, you can watch this video right here that I made about how the UFC became the top promotion in the world from being illegal fighting. And on this side, if you want to find more about One Championship, I just made a video about Demetrius Johnson and how the trade changed his career and One Championship's trajectory. I'll see you in that video. See ya!
Ballin' now, skirt down, all of these diamonds sold. Bought them for me, but they're yours now. You could drink it, but take it slow. Ballin' for you, falling for you.